Right then, I've just about recovered from that game. It's time for the start of Season 8. Hello everyone and welcome back to more Careering Onwards with me, Mr. Grand 2, here with Liverpool still and with the French national team, the world champions, still as well. It's the start of another season. It's the start of our 8th season of the Save, our 8th season as a manager, and well, I mean, it's hopefully going to be a very successful one. We'll get to the transfers in a minute. Obviously, last time out, well, it's just been spoiled for you. If for some reason you didn't watch it, we did win the World Cup with France, and we are still in charge of France because, well, we could have gone to Brazil, we could have gone to England. I didn't apply for either job. They didn't offer me either job, but we could have applied for them, and we probably would have been offered them. I mean, I'm assuming that we probably would have been offered the England job if nothing else. But I decided that actually, probably overall, the best thing to do is to stay with France. Because, well, we haven't actually lost a game in charge of France. We've won every tournament we've participated in. Obviously, that's going to come to an end at some point, and you know that will be there's an argument to go before that happens. But I think the logical thing is just to stay and see if we can win the Nations League, see if we can win the Euros again. We're still the number one ranked side. We know how good the team is. There's so many good youngsters coming through. We've got a lot of them at Liverpool. But I think it's probably the most sensible thing to do. And in terms of who got the England job, it's Graham Potter, which I think is fair enough because he was still at Brighton. He'd been at Brighton since the start of the Save. Brighton won the FA Cup a few years ago as well. I think he's perfectly nice guy, perfectly good choice. So then we've had full success with France, really. We've won everything we can win with them. Liverpool, obviously last season, was pretty successful. Our first season on Merseyside, we finished second in the league. We also won the FA Cup. Not too bad. But now, well, the board, their expectations are a bit higher. We talked about it briefly in the previous episode, but they are very clear. They want us to win the Premier League. It's not negotiable. They want us to win it, which means that if we don't, you would imagine we will be sacked. So with that in mind, we've spent quite a bit of money to get the team into shape. Now obviously we were in a position last season where we did really quite well, so we didn't need to do too much crazy business, but I think the signings we've made have been hopefully going to be an improvement for us. And the first of those is Sadio Mane. We said it was going to be his final game for the club in the last episode of the last season with Liverpool, and that is the case. I mean, mentally, technically, still exceptionally good, but his physicals are dropping off quite a bit. He did decline quite a lot last season. Still did contribute a little bit. We did win a couple of games because of his interventions. He's got a couple of goals. We got a goal in the cup. I think it was the FA Cup to keep us in. I think it was the Reading game he came off the bench for, a vital intervention, but pretty much his last intervention in a Liverpool shirt. He has joined Grêmio in Brazil, and he's already got himself a goal and an assist, so well done Sadio, a true Liverpool legend. And the same can only be said of this man as well. The fans were not particularly happy to see Mane go. They were very, very, very unhappy to see Firmino go. Not a popular decision at all. He's still very good, isn't he? But again, physically, he's dropped off quite a bit from where he was before. He's still 34. And the thing with him and Mane especially Firmino, he was on so much money, and he would have wanted even more if I'd offered him a new contract. And it just doesn't really make sense to me to do that. He has also gone to Brazil, although that's obviously his native country. Unlike Sadio Mane, he has gone to Flamengo for the season, and well, good luck to him. Not his first club. I thought it might be. He's also got himself a goal and assist. So the two Liverpool legends doing well in Brazil. Obviously, he did have quite a key role last season as our second choice striker coming off the bench. Got a few goals as well, but I think we have upgraded. A few other players might go out on loan, but one I want to highlight is Michael Quinn, who had a little bit of a bit part role for us last season on the right hand side. Got a goal. I think it was in the Champions League. Had a few occasionally good glimpses of play, but I think with the players we've got, he was unlikely to get much game time. Makes sense to loan him out as he is a homegrown player, and yeah, just need to get him a bit more football. So he is on loan at Brighton for the season. He picked that. I'm not sure it was the best move for him, given the fact that he is only a I think he's only got a squad player status there, but we'll see how well he does. Another player with a hopefully bright future, Olufemi Muncho, has gone on loan to Saint Etienne. Should hopefully get a bit more football there. I don't think he's really going to break into the first team this season. And similar situation for Kai Ishigami. I mean, he's got injured for 3 months as soon as he's gone to Montpellier on loan, but well, he wouldn't get a work permit anyway, so. But then 3 players we've sold for money, and that's certainly helped in terms of reinvestment into the squad. The first of those is Nikola Vlasic, who didn't play last season, obviously, because he was on loan at West Ham, and they've signed him permanently for £28 million, which I think is quite good. Just a completely baffling player that Liverpool signed in the first place. Some decent attributes, but he's just not. He's not really of the calibre that we need. So 28 million is not too bad at all. And then one that may come back to haunt us. Maybe one of the most. Well, I don't know. He's 32 years old, but Andy Robertson has gone. We have sold him to Juventus, so clearly still good. And then you look at his attributes, and he's obviously still good, physically still fine. Why have you sold him again? I mean, he wanted to leave. He said he'd done everything he could here. He did want to move on, so it was partially his decision. But I mean, yeah, he started off the season for us. Then his form trailed off massively, so he lost his place to Jamal Lewis, and then kind of got his place back at the end of the season, and recovered some of his average rating. But I mean, 36 million for a 32-year-old is not too bad at all. So yeah, Andy Robertson again, another legend. Again, not a popular decision with the fans, but he has gone. But he's not the biggest departure in terms of money. The biggest departure in terms of money is Scott Saunders, who was our sort of third choice striker / left winger last season, who we have sold to Bournemouth for a cool £40 million. I think he was never really going to play that much, and he's not particularly amazing. So if Bournemouth are going to chuck 40 million quid at us for him, clearly having never learnt the lesson of Jordan Ibe or Dominic Solanke, then we're just going to bite their hand off. So quite a lot of money in, and this is what we have done with that money. I think what I identified really, and well, I'll talk through each transfer as we go, because I think each player was sort of a necessary component of the squad, given who's left and given where our weaknesses were last season. So first of all, and he could be, well, he's our cheapest signing, so in terms of price he is a bargain, but he could be a bargain in a lot of ways as well. Ryan Gravenberch has joined us for £11 million from Tottenham. He was transfer listed by Spurs, and well, we've picked him up. He looks really very good in terms of his attributes. He was very highly rated by our scouts. He's still got quite high potential in terms of what our coaches think as well. He's 24 now. Obviously an excellent player last year in the game, became pretty much an excellently developed wonder kid in every single save, and doesn't seem to be the case this year. He's not even got a cap for the Netherlands senior side. He's not even got a cap for the Netherlands senior side yet, but he is only 24, so there's still time. There's areas of issues, like finishing of 9 isn't amazing, but the thing is, he's a good squad player. He's not on that much money relative to our other players. I kind of see him as the replacement for Fabinho, because I'm probably going to play Miguel Salvador in the sort of defensive role. So he's there as the sort of backup Mazzala for the season, and I think could do quite well for us. He's not really settled at Spurs. He didn't settle there. Was on loan at Rosenborg, did okay at Cole, not great. Hanover, alright maybe, but to get him in for a relatively good price for a player of still quite good potential, I think is not too bad. Now, with Andy Robertson leaving, we did need to bring in a new left back, and we'll look at the guy we brought in a second, but we do need to remind ourselves that we do have, of course, Mick Hogan, who is potentially going to be the best left back in the world. It's just his 9 pace is an issue. That concerns me a lot. But our actual new first team left back, probably first choice left back ahead of Jamal Lewis, is another regen to add to our collection. Brazilian, lovely little finger goatee there. It's Rafinha, who we have signed from Flamengo. We've given them Roberto Firmino. We've signed one of their hottest defensive prospects, £21.5 million from Flamengo, the young Brazilian, 21 years old. I mean, he's maybe not as good as Andy Robertson, I'll give you that. Physically, though, very good and nice and well-rounded in terms of technicals and mentals. He's got a lot of potential to grow into. He's 3 stars at the moment, 5-star potential. I like that a lot. And he's clearly highly rated. He was in the Brazil squad at the World Cup, played 5 times for them, got 2 assists. Didn't play in the final, so he doesn't even have that against him. He is a very solid looking player who I think could do pretty well for us. Not on as much money as well as Andy Robertson, which is another key for us, because I wanted to get the wage bill down a bit. We were getting a little bit sketchy in terms of some of the players and contracts that we had at the club. So then, 3 other players that we signed, all in the attacking area, because that was, I think, our weakness last season. We had Vujovic and Salah, we had Moussa Dembele, and they were all fantastic, but the players we had to cover for them, if they were injured or tired or whatever, maybe not quite as good. So that is what we've addressed, and our backup on the right hand side, backup for Vujovic, because Vujovic is obviously, he's an expensive player, he's a very good player, had a fantastic debut season in the Premier League. We want him to be first choice. We need somebody to cover for him who's not going to expect to be playing a week in, week out, but is there and more than capable of doing a good enough backup job. And in Emmanuel Vignato, I think we have got that. A player last year who was available very cheaply at the start of the game. This year he's a bit more expensive and a bit more sort of established and well known, but is still very, very, very good. Only 25 years old, 11 goals and 25 caps for the Italian national side. Again, there's a lot to like about this. He's got 16 dribbling, like that, 17 flair, like that, and everything else is nice and well rounded, how you would expect. 13 finishing, 13 composure, very good. 15 crossing, very good. He's a completely solid option. 3 stars, I don't see a problem with that. I think he's probably a little bit better than that and could still develop quite a lot. We have signed him from Lyon for £35 million, which I think is quite good for the player that we've got here, and he's only a squad player. He's happy to come off the bench. He's happy to play in the cup games. Not going to complain too much, I hope. Not too bad at all. But then the other 2 signings are, well, younger, a lot more expensive, but the kind of players who could make a difference this year, and hopefully, if we don't get sacked, next year as well. Firstly, we have signed Colin Nicholson, a player we've encountered he's throughout the save. He, of course, came through the academy at Fulham, and it's from there that we have signed him today, and he is going to be, I think, this season, our first choice striker, certainly competing with Moussa Dembele. He can play on the right hand side. I think he did play on the right hand side last season quite a lot for Fulham, so he has developed quite nicely there. My issue for that really is his passing. I don't think it's that good for that role. I think he's a striker. I think that's where his future lies. 16 finishing, 16 composure, physically phenomenal, 17 first touch. Again, the passing might be an issue even as a striker, but I don't think so really. His off the ball is amazing. He's got 16 technique, 17 off the ball, 17 flair. He's really, really good. Really, really, really good. Probably will end up being Scotland's all-time top goal scorer. I mean, Liverpool have a tradition of having Scottish legends on the books, really, so I think he's going to fit right in. He's not been the most prolific. As I say, last season he was playing as a winger, so the 8 assists is really nice, and the 7 goals still anyway. I think playing as a striker, which he did the season before, he got 17, so I think he's going to be fine. Wasn't cheap, 75 million, but for a British player who is this good, that's actually quite good value at this stage in a save. And then finally, also not in any way cheap at all, please welcome, I'm going to say Jordan Richard. That's what I'm going to call him. It could be just Jordan Richard, couldn't it? It could be a combination of any of those. But a 20-year-old Frenchman, that's why I'm going with Jordan Richard. You know, Richard like Picard. But a player who I've given 3 caps for the French national side. Didn't make it into our World Cup squad, but he was very close to getting in, and you can probably see why. He could be as good as Vujovic, just on the left-hand side. The reason why I've decided to go with this, and you can see he's only a squad player this season, Mohamed Salah's still here. Mohamed Salah is still absolutely amazing. I mean, there's something we need to just check about Salah, which we didn't really mention last time. He is declining. He's 34 though, so that's what you would probably expect. I don't think we really fully appreciated, or at least I didn't, his season last season for us. I mean, 16 goals is insane, but it's the assists that's the issue for me. 24 assists in the Premier League alone. He got 30 assists overall. The previous season he got 4, and it's his best season in terms of goal creation in his entire career, at least in terms of what's in the game. I'm going to assume it's better than his time at Chelsea and even his time at Basel. He was so good last season. It's a real shame he didn't win the Ballon d'Or. But the thing is, he is 34. He's going to be on the way out relatively soon. So it made sense to bring in Richard because he's just 20 years old. 5-star potential. He's going to be there to learn behind Salah, to cover for Salah, to play ahead of him so he doesn't get too tired. And then hopefully we'll still be here the following season. And then Salah will probably sort of swap places with him. And it may well happen during the season. And Richard will become first choice. From a set piece perspective, he's got 16 free kick taking and 16 corners. I like that a lot. Crossing, dribbling, amazing. He's got 16 heading, which could come in very handy. Mentally sensational. Physically, he's so quick as well. There is one issue, one kind of major issue potentially, is that he's only got 10 finishing, which isn't awful for a winger, but it's not as much as I would like. So we are going to train that up, and hopefully, in the same way that we can hopefully get Mick Hogan's pace up a bit higher, hopefully we can get his finishing even just to an 11. That'll be better than what it is now. But in terms of everything else, he is sensational, and well, he's the left-sided Vujovic, and he's cost us the same as Vujovic did, £90 million. It's not cheap at all. Signed from Stade Rennais, where you can see last season he did very well for himself indeed in League 1. Hopefully, with a season to settle in where he's not got the pressure that maybe Vujovic had last season, because he's going to be behind Salah in the pecking order. He's going to be hopefully contributing quite a lot still anyway, and then next season pushing on. And then maybe later on in the season, certainly next season, pushing on to be that first choice. So overall then, 104 million brought in, 233 million spent. It's not too bad considering we had about 100 million in the budget, didn't we? So I think we've got our money's worth out of that. I think it's fair to say. Let me know what you think of the transfers in the comments. I think we've done quite well. When you're at a club like Liverpool, you have to really spend big to really improve your squad. And I think these two boys, Richard and Nicholson, could be absolute megastars in the save. We've given them their chance at a big club. This is their chance to prove it. Hopefully they can do it. Rafinha could be a bit of a sneaky superstar coming up as well. But overall, I think we've really freshened up the squad with some young talent who have got plenty to prove, but have already proved quite a lot anyway. And hopefully a good chance for them to show it even today in the first game of the season, which will be the Community Shield against Manchester City. Depending on how that goes, we may well play the Watford game as well. We'll see how we feel about it. But Man City, first of all, and, well, you know them, they're good. They've won the Premier League 6 years in a row, which is a bit of an issue for us, given the fact that if we don't win, we will be sacked. Alrighty then, the team for this one is going to be as follows. A lot of familiar names, but a few new additions as well. Alisson still in goal, of course. Rafinha comes in at left back. Voucher and Van Dijk still in defence. I mean, there's an issue maybe with Van Dijk. He is also declining just a little bit. Potentially, we need to move him out of the side and bring in Joe Gomez, or maybe bring in one of the two other French centre-backs. We've got Lefebvre, looks the brightest prospect of the two. I don't think Girardot is going to be quite as good. He's still got a lot of weaknesses in his game. He's improved, and he could still be amazing, will still be amazing, but I don't think he's going to be as good as the other two French centre-backs we've got. I think just Lefebvre looks a little bit better. But Gomez will likely come in for Van Dijk if Van Dijk starts dropping off, but hopefully he won't. Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course, is still going to be at right back. De Jong, Bentancur and Paqueta is the midfield there. They're all really good. Vujovic, of course, on the right-hand side, nearly won the World Cup, didn't win the World Cup. He did miss a very, very, very gilt-edged chance for the Germans against us with France, which was good for us, but maybe not great for him. Mohamed Salah still on the left, still amazing. And Colin Nicholson is going to be starting up front. Moussa Dembele maybe can feel a little bit hard done by, but I think he'll still get his fair share of games this season. But Nicholson is just really good. I mean, the Man City team is still obviously stacked with talent. Moise Kean, Martinez, Sterling, Silva, Kovacic, Chilwell, Diaz, Stones, Dalot, and then they've got the Radu, the Romanian region on the left-hand side. But these guys, they're getting up there a bit. Bernardo Silva is 31 now, still good. Sterling, he's 31 now as well. They're still good, but they're experienced, but they're not maybe in their prime necessarily anymore. They're probably going to win this 5-0. But it's a special day for the supporters. Go out there and make them happy. No one cares, but they do care if I ask them to make a difference. So there we go. Can we start the season off in the right way with a trophy, albeit the Community Shield? It might not be important, but it still matters. It still counts as a trophy. And Manchester City certainly know a thing about winning trophies. Can we stop them this season? This would be a good possible way of showing we can do it. Some sketchy passing around at the back. We've managed to recover it, and Vujovic flings it forward to Nicholson, who could have opened his account there. Doesn't quite do it. He still might though. Another chance, and it ends up going wide. There's an opportunity there. It was a good chance. Defensively, a little bit questionable, but we managed to get it away. And City are coming forwards again, though. Bernardo Silva's lost out to Frankie de Jong, driving forwards from the Dutchman. He's laid it off to Rafinha. We're looking for him to make an impact too. He goes back, which is not ideal, but Foucher's found Vujovic, who found Nicholson, and it was another excellent opportunity for the Scotsman, who didn't put it away. And now de Jong forces a flying save from Bazuna in the goal from Man City. It's all action at the moment. It's all us at the moment as we get another corner. Bentancur potentially going to take it on. He hasn't managed to get it away to anybody, and it's gone for a throw-in. Well, so much action in this first half. It's been mostly us, but City are growing into the game. We've had a couple of sort of half chances, and they're looking to end the first half strongly. Radu on the left, he's been unlucky with the bounce, and Mohamed Salah is away now. He's still got pace to burn on the left-hand side. He's tackled by Dalot though. It's a pretty even game. Still no breakthrough from either side. Vujovic has found Nicholson. He doesn't score, but he does get a kind of a fluky assist, and Mohamed Salah gives us the lead, which overall we've definitely deserved. We've been the most positive, the brightest side. Good header from Vujovic. Nicholson in again. It's an excellent save from Bazuma, to be fair, and the high jump kick finish from Mohamed Salah to put in the rebound. 1-0, fully deserved. And we go into the break with the advantage. It's a slender advantage, but a good advantage to have. And Nicholson, he's had 3 good opportunities to score, hasn't he? And he hasn't converted, but he has at least contributed to a goal. You're looking for quite a lot from him. But Rafinha on the left hand side driving in, he's been a little ways, it's bounced, but we kept it anyway. He gets it back on the left, puts it in for his first goal. Not bad at all from the Brazilian. Another excellent, well worked move. I think that was really nice. Paqueta, another one of our Brazilians, lays it off to the new guy, our new left back. Doesn't bother with a cross. No need to go for a cross. Cuts inside, scores himself. 2-0. This one's looking very good indeed. I think that would cap the day really so far if Nicholson can just get a goal, open his account, and City cannot score. De Jong clears it, but only as far as Kovacic. And City, well, they're giving it away. Nicholson is away. Can he open his account? Yes, he can. Brilliant finish from Colin Nicholson. Money well spent, as long as he does that throughout the rest of the season and not just today. There's a poor ball from City. They've been at 6s and 7s today. And Nicholson, the redhead Scot, runs through. Cracking finish from him. His first goal in a Liverpool shirt in a competitive game. It's 3-0. This is pretty much done. And with that in mind, we'll take off Mohamed Salah, give him a bit of a rest. Vujovic as well, who's never particularly good at keeping his fitness levels up. We'll bring on Vignato and Richard for their debuts. Are we going to see anything from those two boys as well? That would be lovely if we could. Max Aarons is off the bench as well on the right hand side. Into Nicholson, to De Jong, Bentancur. Well, it's a lovely move. Is this going to result in another goal? Not quite. Nicholson forces another save from Bazuna, who you have to say has kept the scoreline respectable. He's been excellent, as have we from an attacking standpoint. Richard, another save from Bazuma. He's already having a bit of an impact off the bench for us. And City, having been so dominant last season, obviously we did beat them 4-1 in the game at Anfield, but that was a very good omen, hopefully, for how the season is going to go. Manchester City 0, Liverpool 3. We've won the Community Shield. Hopefully not the last trophy we're going to win this season. I love it. Sponsored by McDonald's. I'm not sure how how good a message that sends. But it was an excellent performance, and that is for sure. Colin Nicholson getting himself player of the match. I was a little bit worried that he didn't score some of those early chances, but the one he did score was sensational. And there we go, another piece of silverware in the collection. It's an excellent way to start the season. Community Shield's one of those things where if you lose it, it doesn't really matter, but if you win it, it's very good indeed. Very nice start from a lot of the new boys as well. It's exactly what you want to see. And that gives us an opportunity to discuss a few other transfer things as well, because the window is still open for a few more days. Pedro Ildefonso, who had a little bit of a bit part role last season, he's going to go out on loan this year, get a bit more exposure to first team football, because we're going to bring Adam Brunn into the first team in his place. I think he's looking pretty ready for it. But two players to highlight. Naby Keita has asked to leave. He wants to go because he wants to go for a new challenge. We might need to do something with this. The issue is there's not really anyone sort of who we can bring in to replace him as that sort of backup box to box. He's pretty good at it still, and there's not really anyone else who's affordable who can play that kind of squad role in that position. We could use someone like Tom West. We could use some of the other youngsters too, but I'm just not sure they're necessarily the best fit for us for that role. Frederick Jacobson is another player we need to mention as well, because his contract... We also need to mention Frederick Jacobson because he is good. He's really good. But he's... We also need to mention Frederick Jacobson, who he's going to be our third choice striker this season because he's really good. He's really very good. Unfortunately, he's only got 1 year left on his contract, and we had a bid from Leicester, and well, he wanted to leave. He decided he really wanted to leave. I rejected it, and he's very unhappy by that. So hopefully we can calm him down, because I don't really want to sell him because he's really good, and he's going to be club trained. I think he's already club trained, so he is. So I don't really see any reason to. I don't want to sell him because we don't need the money. But yeah, it's an issue. Right, we keep getting bids for Jacobson, and he's now requested a transfer, which I should probably accept rather than lose him on a free, but I'm going to be really stubborn and just say no and just hope I can persuade him. Otherwise, it's not going to work. But I mean, I think we can take the hit. And getting some bids for Harvey Elliott as well, including from our old club. He's going to be third choice this season, given that we have now brought in Richard. But I mean, I want to keep him because he's pretty solid. He's club trained as well. We don't need to worry about squad registration. We are completely fine in that regard. So yeah, I'm going to reject it and keep him because I'd rather have more options than not enough. So there we go. No more coming in, no more going out. And Keita, Jacobson, they're just going to have to get over it, really. Well, I haven't looked at the season preview, but according to Tony Curry, we have been tipped as the bookies' favourite to win the Premier League. Which, I mean, I think if we can be consistent, then we can do it. Let's just check the season preview with that in mind. Are we actually being tipped? I mean, we're not. So that's just a complete lie. Tom's just lied to me there. Free kick early on from Mohamed Salah, headed home by Virgil van Dijk. They are the two most experienced players left on the books at the club. The two longest serving players left at the club. Them and Alisson, really, and Trent as well. But the most experienced men in the lineup combining for the first league goal of the season. Another free kick from Salah. This time it's headed in by that man again, Virgil van Dijk. Very similar position to the previous one we scored from. It's the same winning experience combination. We've lost some experience in the form of Firmino and Mane and Robertson, but Van Dijk and Salah very much still up for the fight. Blocked, it's gone back to Bentancur though, and Mohamed Salah's there, who has and that is a typically classy finish, shall we say, from Mohamed Salah. And yeah, I mean, what else can you say about that? I mean, that it's scintillating, isn't it? He's still got it. He's 34. It doesn't make any difference to him whatsoever. Gone out to Vujovic. He puts it across to Paqueta. It's another fantastic goal. This is getting a bit ugly for Watford, really, isn't it? Which, I mean, is great for us. Brilliant blistering start to the season. Vujovic on the volley, Paqueta top corner, Paqueta with a deep free kick. Van Dijk was nearly scored a hat trick there. He flicked it on, and Mohamed Salah, bit of a Moussa Dembele goal steal there. Van Dijk very unlucky not to get a hat trick. It probably wasn't going to go in. What can you say about that? I was right about the fact that we weren't going to score again in the second half. 5-0 at half time. The job was completely done, and we could take our foot off the gas. Liverpool 5, Watford 0. Not a bad way to start the season. Community Shield win against City, and then top of the league, albeit only on goal difference. But well, it was good, wasn't it? Mohamed Salah is 34, and he's still one of the best players in the entire world. But when you're that good and you keep fit, you don't really lose it, do you? Well, there we go. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. We are going to be back next time. Then we're going to go quite a few games into the season, I think, because we've done the Premier League. We've been here. I think we'll probably come back. I'm liking the look, and it is of course subject to change, but I'm liking the look of Man United at Anfield plus a Champions League game. I think that's probably the most sensible thing to do. Play a few games in the meantime, and we'll see how things are shaping up. The start has been pretty blooming sensational, really, hasn't it? But there we are. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Leave a comment as well. Tell me what you think of the transfers. Tell me how you think we're going to do this season. Are we going to win the Premier League, or are we going to end up getting sacked at the end of it? I certainly hope not, because I'm really liking this team. There's some sensational players that we've unearthed, and I really can't wait to see how things go. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.